Hey, what's up, everyone? Name's Eli. Make a new YouTube channel called Well, That's Just Random. So originally, I was actually gonna make a YouTube channel called something like Let's Just Travel. Just gonna go around, look at different historical sites around the world. Obviously, because of COVID, can't really travel too much. So I was like, what else can I do? Since we're kind of locked down, got a lot more time on my hands, can't travel. So I came up with, well, that's just random. I figured with everything going on, let's just discuss random things, stuff to take our mind off stuff. So, first video, still new to this, figuring it out. So I figured let's start with where to travel after COVID because, well, we don't know how long COVID's going to last, how long travel restrictions are going to last. Each country's different. So I figured why not start planning, thinking about where to go. It almost reminds me when I was deployed in Afghanistan. You have all these different you have all this time on your hand to think about all your plans you're going to do when you get back. But instead of being deployed, well, I'm locked down in Colorado all the time. So I figured why not start making plans of where to go, what to see, and start looking at what other people are planning to do after COVID and where they want to go. Um, so I'm looking different stuff. People have different lists. And let's see. So on this list, which is travel and leisure, they have Bermuda as one of their number one choices. So Bermuda, a destination with an easy reach for East Coasters. Well, I guess it's cool if you're on the East Coast. Being in Colorado, it's gonna take a little bit longer to get there. Never really thought about going there, but the pictures they have of it looks pretty good. It's like a salvation for me and my family. It says we've been vacationing there for years. Guess it's only 2 hours flight from New York. So if you're in New York when COVID's over, maybe think about going to Bermuda, right? And it looks nice, beach. So hopefully COVID's over by next summertime, summer 2021 maybe. That way we can go and actually enjoy the beach and the warm weather. But yeah, so Bermuda. Next, they got Sicily. Definitely would love to go to Sicily. I was in Europe for 6 years. Been to Italy, never went to Sicily. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be on the travel list. It says the ride along the winding cliffside roads above the Ionian Sea into the I can't even pronounce them, butcher it. Taormina has come to feel like a sort of homecoming for me. So definitely would agree with Sicily, and also just being back in Europe, being in Italy. Like I said, I was there stationed in Germany for 6 years. Loved it. Went to about 10 different countries for travel. Definitely not as much as I should have. Definitely regret not going to more. But yeah, the next they got a cross country road trip. So cross country road trip's not bad. Obviously with COVID, you're not supposed to be traveling as much. Each state has different restrictions, different lockdown requirements. Yeah, they're saying they want to go to Chicago, Vegas. Definitely want to go to Vegas, not too far from Colorado. Yeah, but I think a cross country road trip would be fun. It really just depends where you're trying to go. Haven't done a cross country, haven't done ocean to ocean, so I think that would definitely be on my checklist to do. Maybe flying to San Diego, start there, drive up the West Coast through Oregon and Washington, and then drive across the country and maybe stop, end in New York City or end in Maine or something like that. Obviously, with everything going on, hopefully everything calms down. We kind of go back to normalcy, and you know, but yeah, definitely, I think that would take a lot more planning than just trying to go to like Bermuda or go to Europe. Just because it's like, where am I going to stop? Right? Am I going to go start San Diego, then Vegas, then Nebraska, then into Chicago? Am I going straight across, or am I going to go dip into the South? Because I definitely want to go to Florida. I think I want to go to Florida. I haven't been there before. Heard some pretty good things. Maybe it's just the movies and everything, but definitely want to go to Florida. Let's see, Philippines and Vietnam. So I've never been to Asia, period. But I think Philippines and Vietnam would be pretty cool. Um, so yeah, they're talking about how their family had originally planned to go to the Philippines, but obviously COVID happened. So I don't know too much about Asian culture. I got a lot of buddies that love Asian culture and been to South Korea, been to Japan, stuff like that. But I think definitely going to Asia would be a great trip. I think that'd be a separate trip. Maybe do something where it's like flying to Australia, hang out there for a little bit, then go into South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Vietnam, stuff like that. Uh, but I don't know too much. I guess I got spoiled and I got stationed in Europe for so long. I think I'm a lot more comfortable traveling to Europe. But yeah, definitely want to look into going to Vietnam. or just going to Asia in general. Where else they got? Jamaica, of course. I mean, I think people wanted to travel to Jamaica before COVID. After COVID, it's probably gonna be even more. So Jamaica, Australia. Yeah. So they have Australia down as number 5. I completely agree. Kind of like I said with going to Vietnam, maybe going into Southeast Asia, stopping in Australia first. Again, that may even be on its own trip just because, I mean, Australia is a pretty big country. Well, I imagine there's a lot of stuff to see, a lot of stuff to do. Don't know too much about all about Australia, but definitely wouldn't mind going there. You obviously got the beaches, and then just imagine, like I said, there's so much more stuff to do there. Uh, that I feel like you might almost make it your own trip. But since you're in that part of the world, might as well maybe stop over in other parts of Asia as well. So Rome. So again, Italy, or yeah, Italy. Just in Europe in general. That's one of the nice things like I love about traveling in Europe is everything's so close. So you can be in Italy for 3 or 4 days, and then you can travel to another country in Europe. And the culture is just so different that it's so nice to be able to be like, okay, now you're looking at Italian culture, now you're in Germany, you got German culture, France, England, then obviously moving into Eastern Europe, stuff like that. So I think that's one. I think it's definitely one of the first trips I do is go to Europe, just because if I do go there for 2 or 3 weeks, I can see so many different countries and stuff like that, and then maybe start looking at certain trips for like Australia or Asia. Midwest is their next one, which I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have guessed the Midwest would be a place for a destination after COVID. Obviously, there's gonna be stuff in the Midwest to go see, go do. So definitely, like and it might even be a little bit easier of a vacation for a lot of people. To get there from at least within the United States. But yeah, I never would have guessed the Midwest is a place people would think about traveling to after COVID. But hey, I guess if it's easy to get to, or if you're outside the United States, you want to go see the United States, obviously come look at the Midwest. It's definitely a lot of stuff to do there. London and Paris. So again, Europe, kind of a common theme on here. A lot of European countries I see in cities. Makes sense. Like I said, 'cause once you fly into one, it's a lot easier to get to the other one. Compared to if you're in Australia, then it's a lot longer flight to get somewhere else. Um, Been to London, very fun. Love the city. A little expensive, but a lot of fun. A lot of stuff to do. Obviously, historical sites, nightlife if you're into that. Just seeing everything. And my favorite thing about being in London and England was just the accents. Obviously, I think that's awesome. Um, yeah, definitely. If I go back to London, I want to spend more time. I was only there for 2.5 days, so great time. But again, I don't think 2.5 days is enough to see one a country and two a city like the size of London. Um, Next, they have New Orleans with a side of Houston. So been in New Orleans for a day. Pretty cool. Saw the French Quarter. A lot of cool stuff about that city. A lot of historical sites. Uh, I've only been in Houston once, and that was like flew in, hung out for a few hours outside the airport, and then left. So I don't really know what to do in Houston or what they have, but I imagine Houston's a large city, so I imagine there's a lot of stuff to see and a lot of stuff to do. Definitely recommend New Orleans. I think the nice thing about this is it has trips for people. If you're in the United States, it has like trips for you to go to that aren't going to be too expensive, too crazy, right? Because if you're like me in Colorado, going to Houston and going to New Orleans isn't the most difficult thing, right? I can either drive there or I can fly there. So I think that is pretty cool. Next one, they got the beach, any beach. I agree. I mean, obviously, if you're like locked down in California, if you're locked down in like Florida, Southeast Texas, stuff like that, and you have the beach closer to you, and then it may not be that big of a deal. But being here in Colorado, especially with winter coming up, um, definitely might go to the beach, especially if everything kind of goes back to normal by next summer and we're good with COVID. I think just spending a few days at the beach would be awesome. I've been to the beach in California, I've been to the beach in Oregon, in Washington. Haven't been to the beach on the East Coast. So I might end up just planning a trip over to the East Coast and going to the beach over there. So if you guys got any recommendations on what beaches to go visit on the East Coast, definitely let me know. I mean, I have buddies that have been stationed for the Army over on the East Coast, and they've from what the beaches they go to, like Virginia Beach and stuff like that. Mexico City, okay, not bad. Been to Mexico, haven't been to Mexico City. I know there's a lot of culture there, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to see. So I think that would be pretty cool. Again, it's also if you're in the United States, not too difficult to get to. So I think that's really great. But yeah, so Mexico City, just reading what they're saying about it, really just talking about their personal experience there. But yeah, so I think South America would be another great trip. Again, now they have just Italy as their next choice, just the whole country as overall, which I agree. Um, Going to Italy is amazing. Going to Rome, great city, obviously a lot of historical sites to go see. And then you have a lot of the different cities to go see. Like I said, Sicily. And then, yeah. And then my thing with that is, like I said, you're just so close to other countries. So it's really easy to travel. And a lot of people don't know driver's licenses. So a lot of European countries will honor American driver's licenses. If you're over there traveling, you want to rent a car and drive over there. So, if you're looking at ways to get around, obviously the public transportation system over in most Western European countries are pretty amazing, pretty easy to access. A lot of stuff's in English. The employees that work there speak English as well. But also if you want to drive, and I'm definitely, I think next time I go, I'm going to rent a car and drive, because I think it just allows me to see more of the country, make those little stops in those towns you might miss if you're on a train, something like that. So definitely recommend, if you're over in Europe, maybe getting a car for a few days and just kind of driving through the country. It's like a mini road trip. Let's see. Puerto Rico. Okay. So not technically leaving the United States, but depending where you're from, like me, Colorado, you're going to get away, have the beaches, have a lot of different cultures, stuff like that. Really good food. So definitely consider maybe going to Puerto Rico. Palm Springs in Texas. So Texas as a whole, I could see. A lot of stuff to do in Texas. The state's, huge. So obviously, again, little mini vacation, would be perfect. But I never would have guessed Palm Springs. I'm just going to see what they have for Palm Springs. My first vacation back in the world will be to Palm Springs, California. Never would have guessed that for anyone. Destination that keeps slipping my grip, they say. Blah, blah, blah. And then I guess let's say the Joshua Tree is nearby. So I guess there's some stuff to do, obviously, in Palm Springs, some stuff to see. And you're in California, so you got the beach, you got Disneyland, you got all that kind of stuff. You got LA, you got nightlife, obviously after COVID. But yeah, so yeah. Copenhagen, Denmark, been there. Really great city, great country. A lot of stuff to see, a lot of stuff to do. I would definitely recommend that. So I think what I'm going to change it to is just like trips I plan overall, but instead of bringing down by countries and cities like this, I would say number one trip, going to Europe, at least 2 or 3 weeks for me, just because I think you need to have that time to be able to not only see a lot of countries, but enjoy your time there. Because if you only go there for like a week and a half, I notice people, would travel, to Europe for a week, and they're trying to see all this stuff. So they're only spending 1 day, maybe 2 in each place they go. And to me, you can't really enjoy that. Now, if that's all you can do, I totally get it. But I recommend having the time set aside to actually enjoy each city or country you're in. So I think my number one choice for where I'm going to travel to after COVID is going to be Europe, and probably Western Europe, so I can really maximize my time there and maximize enjoying each city I go to. I definitely want to get to, it's not on the list, but I want to get to Spain, and I want to go back to Ibiza. Obviously, if you don't know what Ibiza is, you just hop on YouTube and type in Ibiza, and you're going to see hundreds of videos, if not thousands. One of the top party spots in the world, but it's an island. So you got the beach, it's in the Mediterranean. So you got the nice weather in the summertime. I mean, it's perfect. So highly recommend going there if you're into that kind of stuff. But that's going to be one of the places I want to go when I'm back in Europe. Yeah. So overall, I think Europe's number one, and then number two, which it's really tough for number one, is going to be a mini road trip throughout the States, because if COVID's over and everything like that, it's something I can do a lot easier. I don't have to set as much time aside for it, like going to Europe, but I still get out of Colorado. I still get to see stuff, kind of stretch the legs a little bit. So yeah, mini road trip, just figuring out where to go though. Being in Colorado, I, hit Vegas, then maybe go to California, then Arizona, Texas, and then kind of loop back around. Or do I kind of say, hey, I'm just, haven't really spent that much time on the East Coast, so maybe I just do a straight shot across and end up in like New York City or end up in Maine, especially in the summertime. I know Maine's got amazing seafood out there, so love to go there. So I'm thinking a mini road trip. If you guys have suggestions on where to go on a road trip in the United States, definitely let me know. And then number three is going to be probably Australia. And I'm going to leave that as a separate trip, because I just feel like there's so much stuff to do there and see that I want to have a separate, like a specific trip just for Australia instead of trying to do Australia and Asia. The number four is going to be Asia. Just have never been to Asia, so I definitely want to get there. Definitely want to see Japan. Definitely want to see South Korea. Definitely want to go like Vietnam and maybe some of these other smaller countries you don't hear that much about. So I'm definitely going to go to Asia. That's going to be my number four trip. Number five, Mexico is on there. So I think I want to go to Mexico, have more time to spend there. And then I also want to do kind of like a Mexico / South American trip. maybe Costa Rica, stuff like that. A lot of good stuff down there. A lot of friends that have gone down there and traveled, friends that are from there. So that's my number 5, Mexico / South America. And then all-time favorite trip after COVID, probably be a cruise through the Mediterranean, or a cruise maybe through like South America or something like that. They did have cruises in Europe I saw that went along like the river cruises and stuff. So I figured that's something I could probably do if I was over in Europe for like 3 or 4 weeks. But yeah, ultimate trip would be a cruise, but obviously COVID's got to be over, and I got to see where it's going and how much time they take. I saw one cruise. There's like this ultimate cruise. It's like 4 months long, 129 countries, something crazy like that. Obviously, working, stuff like that, being in the Army, I can't take 4 months off. So that's definitely my ultimate trip when I retire from the Army, which will be in 9 years. So in 9 years, hopefully they sell that cruise that's going around for 4 months. But yeah. So let me know in the comment section what you think of this video. First time video, like I said, this is just, well, that's just random stuff we can talk about, random things, kind of on the lighthearted side. A lot of stuff going on in the world, COVID and everything like that. So just figured, since I can't start my video about traveling and seeing historical sites and stuff like that, why not start a video on, well, that's just random, and we can have random conversations about stuff. And, maybe you like it, maybe you don't, maybe you hate me for this video, I don't know, but comment, let me know what you think, hit the like button, share, help me get this video started. And then once COVID's over, I can transition from, well, that's just random to, well, that's just travel, and we can go see some cool stuff together. Because I definitely love traveling. It's definitely my hobby. I think after I retire, I want to do something where I can either travel a lot for work, or my job is traveling and doing stuff, So yeah, let me know what you guys think again about this video, and don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to share. Thanks.